Have you ever tried to make a cream sauce or a cheese sauce, but either you can't get the cream sauce to thicken up or you can't get the cheese and the milk to incorporate and mix together? Well, that's because you were missing an essential step, using a simple bechamel sauce to help combine those two together. I'm John Clark with Britannia BQ, and today we're going to be covering how to make a bechamel sauce, which is one of the French mother sauces. I'm going to cover how to make a simple bechamel sauce as well as a way that you can flavor your bechamel with any flavors you want to do. In the most simple terms, bechamel is just a few ingredients. You need roux, which is equal parts oil and flour. Now, if you don't know how to make roux, you can check out my video in the card right here or in the description below for a full tutorial on how to make the perfect roux for your bechamel sauce. And once you have your roux, you need milk. And usually the traditional way is a hint of nutmeg as well. If you want to add your own flavors to the bechamel sauce, it's really easy. Pick out any of the flavors you want. Today I'm using Shitake Mushrooms, my homemade smoked chipotle, some bacon, and a few other spices like cloves and nutmeg, salt and pepper, and some herbs. Whether you're making the simplified bechamel or seasoning your milk with whatever you want, you're going to start with the same thing. Make roux. All we need for bechamel is a light roux. It only takes a couple minutes to make. It's super easy. And you want to make sure that you let that cool down completely once you finish making it. For every cup of milk you're using to make your bechamel, you want to make sure you use 20 grams of flour and 20 grams of butter to make your roux. So I'm making 2 cups of milk today, so I used 40 grams of butter and 40 grams of flour. Once you finish making the roux, set it aside to let it cool, and you can begin preparing any of the seasonings or foods that you want to put into your milk to flavor it. You don't need to cut them up finely, you can just coarsely chop them, because after we heat up the milk with those flavors inside of it, we can simply take the milk and strain it to get all those pieces of seasonings or whatever you're using out. You add all those ingredients to your milk and let it simmer over low heat. That's very important so it doesn't burn. You want it to simmer for at least 10 minutes, maybe as long as 20, depending on how much flavor you want to impart into your milk. Once you've finished getting all the flavor from your ingredients into your milk, you just want to go ahead and strain them through a fine mesh sieve. And what you're going to find is that you've boiled off a lot of your milk in the process, depending on how long you let everything go. So you need to add milk back up to your original volume. In this case, I started with 2 cups. Whether you're making the simplified bechamel with just the milk and adding roux to it, or if you're making the flavored ones, you want to wait until your milk gets to a light boil where it's just starting to bubble around the edges like it's doing here. And at this point, you can begin to add your roux into your mixture. Keep the mixture over medium heat until your roux has dissolved completely and your sauce begins to thicken. As it gets a little thicker, you're probably going to want to turn down to about a medium-low or so. And you can see it begins to thicken quite quickly. And you can see that after just a couple minutes of stirring, we already have a really nice ribbony texture to this cream sauce. The thicker you want this mixture to be, the longer you'll sit and stir while it's heating up over a low simmer. But at this point, I could serve this bechamel sauce how it is. Before I get on to the final points about bechamel, I wanted to stop for a minute and ask you to consider subscribing to my channel if you like this video and you want to see more videos and be notified every time I release a new one. Once your bechamel sauce reaches this ribbony consistency you see here, you've got a great base that you can take in an almost endless number of possibilities for different types of sauces. If you add cheddar cheese, you've got a Mornay sauce. If you add Parmesan cheese, now you're getting into sauces like Alfredo. Or you can use a sharp orange cheddar to make mac and cheese. If you added lots of flavoring to your bechamel, you may not even need to add any cheese. You can use it just like that as a topping for seafood, for poultry, or for pork. Bechamel goes great spread on a sandwich, or you can also add light stocks like from pork, chicken, or seafood, or vegetables, and get into making gravies. I'll be using my bechamel as a topping for seared scallops, and I'm actually making a video about that. So if you do hit that subscription button, you'll get notified when that comes out. Once again, I'm John Clark with Briqueño BQ. I hope to see you next time.